But yeah, I want to get into you as a writer because I enjoy just hearing the minds of writers and how they think. So like, how's your like writing process and for your
Oh
Publishing
God,
Confidential?
I don't have one. I really don't. It's funny because I was talking to my husband last night about the Substack, and I said, I really, now that I'm done with grad school for now, I have to get on a better schedule and make an editorial calendar and all that. And he was like, "You don't do any of that?" I was like, "No, I fly by the seat of my pants. Like the day I feel like writing something is the day I write something." And I was even like this in grad school, which horrified, him and but my sister is the same way. I need to sit down at the computer and just type it out and just get it out in one sitting. So, obviously I'm not writing a book because that my writing process would not work in that, in that sense. But it, I don't want to, give anybody the impression that I have some deep writing process for Substack when I absolutely don't. I will say this, I am working on a pretty lengthy piece right now that I am doing some research on and reading a lot, and it's going to take a little bit before I publish it. So every once in a while, I'll be like, this is something I need to spend more time on. But the rest of the time, it's like, what's new today in publishing? Maybe I'll write about it. And I do.
And because you have so much experience, do you mostly just kind of go off your experience, or are you still like if you're going to do a piece, are you reading up first, or how do you kind of gauge that when before you going into writing these bigger pieces?
Um, it depends. A lot of it is based on, I don't write about topics that I don't have any knowledge on at all because I don't want to give people information that's wrong, right? So you probably won't ever really see me write about kids' books because that's an area where I don't have any experience whatsoever, or really YA. But the rest of it is up for grabs. And what I do is I take my experience and all the different positions I've had in publishing and all the experience I've had in the almost 3 decades I've been doing this, and look at the topic that I'm covering. So the piece I'm working on is something about how media has changed and what publishers should be thinking about, now that a lot of clicks are drying up for media outlets and things like that. I know that because I'm a media junkie, at heart, I'm always a PR person. I've seen the changes, and I want to write about that. So I'm reading a lot of different articles that have come out about it, and I always link to them in my stories anyway. So that's one part of it. But most of the time, I'm taking my experience and saying, listen, this is how you read between the lines about this particular issue, and this is what's really going on. Give my audience. I want to demystify that stuff for people because it shouldn't be that deep, honestly.
No, it shouldn't, and that's what I think I really do enjoy about your Substack because it brings that. Because honestly, I feel like a lot of times when you look into publishing, there's like so many moving pieces. You really sometimes don't know everything. So your Substack really does a great job just like simplifying information and putting it like like just an open ended so people like us can
Thank you.
understand it, just a lot easier. And one of the things that did pop up this week was I think from the two ladies from Random House that
Mhm.
ended up getting
Yeah.
lost their jobs. Is that something you would write about, or like what do you think about that whole topic?
I wrote a really short piece about it. I didn't delve into it too deeply because I respect both of them and it's not my story to tell. But I will say a couple of things really honestly here is one, Lisa Lucas, who was the, publisher of Pantheon. Um, she came into the industry, she was at the National Book Foundation for a while. She had a nonprofit background. She's incredibly well respected. I respect her. I like her as a person. But sometimes when you put a person in a position as a publisher and they have no book publishing experience, that's almost setting someone up, for a bad situation in the future. And I think she did her job really well, but I also think that one of the one of the unfortunate parts of Penguin Random House losing the DOJ case was that they had to pay $200 million to Paramount. So where's that money coming from? Knopf itself, and Reagan Arthur was the publisher of Knopf, and she's very well respected, someone I respect in the industry as well. Sometimes what it comes down to is simply office politics. And it's unfortunate because I think if Lisa, I hope that Lisa has a chance to be a publisher again, because I think she's super important in this industry for diverse voices. And I think that, someone else should hire her, and she would be fantastic wherever she landed or whatever she decides to do. Um, and with Reagan Arthur, I mean, she was Sunny Maida's hand-picked predecessor. So when you have a situation like that, and a new CEO comes in because the merger fell through, you're going to be under a microscope, and it's really unfortunate. And I think it's less of, oh, we need to save money and cut them because their salaries are so high. It's less of that and more of, well, there's a new CEO, we had to pay all this money because this merger fell through, and who can we cut,
Yeah.
kind of a thing, which is grossly unfair to them.
Yeah, it is. And because I think Lisa also did Chain Gang All Stars, which is like one of the coolest books that I know a lot of people have been talking about how much they've loved that book over the years. So there was a growing level of, like you said, diversity that was coming from
Mhm.
Penguin Random House in there. So I hope obviously they continue to push for that as well. And then because then didn't the Penguin Random House's CEO, was it Madeline? She left too.
Macintosh.
So
Yep. Yep.
Macintosh, and then she started her own author thing. So it's
Yes.
interesting to see that, to our point earlier, that continuing push for like different alternatives to publishing. I think that's going to continue to
Mhm.
change based on just talking with you.
Yeah,
um,
me too.
if you enjoyed that clip, make sure you head over to www.bookupapp.com to download our app so you can connect with your favorite bookish content creators, start conversations, and start your own book club.